Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 8 Regents of Westeros tournament 2024 for the first time. So we had the little draft tourney a few weeks ago, and now it's time to have the actual draft, and we are going to take you through it in the next couple of hours. I will let me just first of all make sure that this works. So supposed to see chat on screen. Let me know if it's messed up or anything. So with me are some of the organizers. Let me see who we have here. So we have Mad, Hannes and Zini from the organizers, and we also have the defending champion last year's Targaryen Regent Peter Shuck. Welcome everyone.
Hi.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So the procedure for this one, or the schedule, we are going to start with a few brief words about the tournament. Then we'll go to the random order of picks. So the dice rolls have kind of fizzled this time. Something doesn't work, so technical issue, and we'll do the wheel of names again, not a problem. So as you know, Andy picks first, and then the other seven will be randomized. And we'll introduce the regions, and then we go straight into the first round picks. So what is going to happen is Hannes will give us all 8 picks in a single round. Each time we'll just enter them, and then as the regions are making the picks for the next round, we are going to check the players in the spreadsheet and have a few words, have some commentary, and then we are going to finish with the random order at the end. So guys, do you want to go through the draft rules a little bit? Or does everyone know them by now? I have it open here.
Give a brief overview just for people watching.
Yeah, so this is basically it. So we have a few paragraphs here. So the players are split into 3 groups. They're named Daenerys, Jon, and Cersei. Daenerys is the highest, Cersei is the lowest. And what these groups do, the draft is conducted in a snake order. So whoever picks first in one round picks last in the next round. But by picking from a lower group, you can put yourself on top of the order again. So the first tiebreaker for the order basically is the group you picked from, and then it's your position in the previous round, so that it's reversed. We've been there for the last 2 years, so I think everyone is kind of aware of the procedure. So we have this time factions in the draft as well. So regions have not been assigned factions in advance, so they'll have to pick them, and picking a faction means it's like picking from the highest group, so you automatically the people who picked from lower groups go ahead of you. And you must pick a faction at some point in the draft, so you can't let it go into the random picks. So we have...
and you can only pick one faction, maybe also for the smart asses.
Yes, of
only
course,
one faction.
Once you pick your faction, that's it, yeah.
We can end the tournament today.
We have 83 players, 8 of those are regions, so 75 players are in the draft. And as you know, the last 2 rounds always in the 8 Regions tournament are random, so randomly assigned remaining players to factions. We'll do that this year as well, which means it will work out so that 64 players are drafted. That means 8 rounds, and since everyone is picking a faction, that's basically 9 rounds of picks, and then the remaining 11 players will be over the next 2 rounds sorted into factions. We'll do that randomly, like we did the previous years, and that will be it. Yeah, I think that covers it. So we have this spreadsheet available here. As you can see, Andy is picking first, and we'll add the order for the others. No factions, no fancy colors here yet, because we simply don't know. And yes, let me just, before we start, also say a few words about this tournament this year. So we have, as we said, 83 players, and I count 21 different countries, which is amazing. I did a little world map with the countries that entered colored in. I'm sure you've seen it. It's basically the entire Europe, apart from Eastern Europe. I guess we lost Russia and the Baltics in the last few years, and Italy is missing, but everything else is here. We have USA and Germany fighting for having the most players, USA just edging it in the end. We have 3 entries from China this year. 2 of those players have managed to get on Discord somehow and are more involved than in the past, so that's really great to see. And some countries also entering for the first time. We have a player from Canada as well. I think he's reasonably good as well. Finland has increased the numbers as well. Czech Republic still going strong, and so on. So really good representation. And also the players you will see when I display them. So we can see the example here have entered some information in the sign-up form. So some comments about themselves, and also how active they will be, and the faction they dislike, that they don't want to be drafted into. Now, I can tell you that a lot of people misread this and just enter their favorite faction there, so that's a problem for them, because now the Regents, unless they've spotted the mistake, might not draft them. But actually, I counted before we went live, and 58 of the players said they would play any faction, which is great to see. And the most disliked faction is Night's Watch, with 8 players that don't want to play it, and then Martell and Stark to follow. And every faction has received at least 1 player who dislikes it. So that's the stats. And if there's nothing else, then I guess we go into the randomizer.
Spin it up.
Okay, so Andy's first, and who will pick second? So as we
Spin
said,
the wheel.
this is not necessarily an advantage. It's supposed to be fair with the snake order, but yeah. Oof, okay.
Warriors.
Okay, so hopefully someone is writing this down.
Yep, I got it, boys.
So do we have a Lanny faction pick coming on round 2?
The bets are brand for this.
Rupert.
Oh, Rupert.
Second or third, I should say.
Third pick.
Tarsus or Francisco.
Tassos. Johannes with Tyrell colors there too. Stelios.
Yeah, now it gets interesting, because when you have the 7th pick, you also have the 10th pick potentially, or 8 and 9, and you could get something really strong. I wonder if it's better than 1 and 16.
Yeah, this is the best 2, in my opinion.
Although last year we had quite a few people take kind of the John picks first round to jump into the order of the following round. I don't know if we'll see that again, but that did happen.
Okay, we'll need the Wheel of Names later as well, so I'll leave it open. And there we are. So the Regents will now, I guess, choose their first round picks, and we can have a look at some of the players. I guess we can also speculate a little bit for each Regent what they might pick. So let's go in order, right? So let's see Andy's profile. So Andy is they're not sorted alphabetically. This will be a pain for me. Can I just write and it will find? Yeah, okay, good. Andy is the defending champion, won it with Targaryen last year. And Peter, you must have some insight. Are you the first pick, maybe?
Well, not unless Andy's really drunk already, to be honest, because there are a lot better players at me than there. But Andy, you have to all recall, is actually the reigning Stolic draft champion, so we have to assume he's going to pick something good for the first pick.
Yeah, my suspicion is that Jim Henson goes first again, but we'll see.
That wouldn't be a bad pick. But like really, when it comes down to it, someone like Jim is really good in this tournament because he can play almost any faction and he plays off agendas quite a bit. So that's something that cannot be undervalued in a tournament like this.
And
one of the best picks for sure. It's going to be interesting to see who's going first here. Who want to announce it, guys?
do we have the order? Sorry, I could not follow. So Cortius is next,
Andy
right?
goes first,
Yes, we do.
Cortius goes second, Rupert
Okay.
goes third. So, do you want the first name here?
No, we are not there yet. So we're waiting to announce all 8 at the same time.
Yeah. Then I'll shut up.
Okay, go through this. So Cortius, there was some speculation. We said if he picks towards the end of the round, he might pick a player in Lannister, but now he might pick 2nd and 15th, right? And then it gets dangerous. So change of plan maybe.
He might pick Lannister.
So he is, I will show you on Turning Grounds or Jousting Pavilion, he is one of the most loyal players. He's all red. So he's just complete loyalist, and having there's one tournament with Martel here, so having a different faction for him would be interesting, I would say. So originally when we wanted to assign factions to the players, the plan was not to give them their own faction, right, the ones that were there most at home, but now well,
We should have given him Night's Watch.
it's in his hands. So third pick is did we say Rupert?
Yes, it's Rupert.
Okay, so he was my teammate in Tyrell last year, a really good teammate as well. And the speculation here is that he's going to take his buddy Henry, who he's played with in the World Cup and in the Battle for the Seven Kingdoms, and they've done really well. And it's well, friendship picks are usually, I don't know about that. It's a questionable strategy, but here we have a player who just reached the final of the online world, so clearly he could be picked on merit as well, and I think I have a strong suspicion that it might be Henry here.
Those two are a pair of mad scientists when it comes to deck building. You can't forget that in the 7K tournament for Regents, I believe they made it all the way to the final against your Barra team that had Hanno on it.
Yes, and James Walmsley.
Yes, so think about that, right? When those two are together, they can just build some crazy decks. So I'm looking forward to see what Rupert's doing.
Yeah, perfect format for them as well. Okay, who was number 4?
Number 4 is
number 4 was Tassos.
Okay, so he has he's a, I can click on him. He's a Tark player mostly, not a super loyalist, plays some other stuff as well, but he is a Tark player that actually has not had the chance to play Targaryen in this tournament. Wasn't part of the winning team last year, and there was speculation that he might be very interested to take that faction. But also we have some spoilers that might pick his countryman Alex Trig W here. So we'll see if that happens. Would be a great pick as well.
It would be a very good pick. Will he risk letting Targaryen go though? Because it has been, I think, kind of his desire to play it.
Yeah, and he goes 14th, right? If he doesn't pick Targaryen in or 12th, is it? Or 13th? Yeah, he's 4th and 13th. So it's a very low pick in the other round. But then.
And anyone who wants Targaryen probably also wants Reinhard Sheffick. So it's going to be a tall order if he wants that faction to take Alex Trigg, Reinhard, and the faction itself.
Okay, and then we have Johannes here. Another defending champion, right? So he was
That's right.
Apparently very popular in the Tark team last year. He has played Tyrell. He mostly plays Tyrell, and he has played it in this tournament. In the first year we had it. So I wonder if he is maybe not that bothered about the faction because he's already played 2 of his favorites. Might go for a strong player instead.
Yeah, Johannes was kind of a dark horse pick for me last year. When I was talking to Jim Hansen after I drafted him, he gave him a strong recommendation. And I took him basically because of my interactions with him and Jim's endorsement. And he was kind of the best value pick of the tournament. He, I think, lost 1 game. And he was playing Targ and only played stuff like Knights of the Realm and Green Sight and Banners the whole time. So That's really what wins this tournament. Isn't who wins the top agendas. It's the people who can squeeze the lower ones.
And next up is Stelios. Stelios was on the Bara winning team 2 years ago. So there was some speculation that he might land in Night's Watch because it's not really popular and he likes the faction. But for the first player, I don't know. I mean, if Argento's still there, if Raios is still there, those would be decent picks, right?
Will there be competition between the two Greek regents over the Greek players who are in the pool, because they are all very solid picks?
Yeah, but there's only 2 more Greek players besides the regents, so competition will be over very quickly.
There is competition though.
Yeah, we'll see. So Stelios is slightly unpredictable. I think he'll pick the strongest possible player here, then see what happens. Then we have Francisco. He's played with me on the Tyrell team in the past. He is a loyalist, but having played Tyrell, again, I'm not sure if he's bothered, but he might get it. I don't see, if Johannes isn't interested, then maybe Tyrell will be up for grabs. I don't know. I think Rupert isn't taking it because he's also played it. So, but Francisco is great in this format. I think he's very involved and he likes to build all kinds of stuff. He's not one to play just the obvious decks.
He's very creative.
And then finally we have Urs. So Urs is plays mostly Stark and long description. I'll let you read that in a second. Mostly Stark and Martell in the past. Also plays Night's Watch, so I think he could possibly get one of his beloved factions here. So what did he write? Oof.
A book.
Doesn't want to be a regent. Well, okay, too late for that now. We'll see how it goes.
He wrote a good write-up for being a regent because he wrote more than 3 sentences.
Okay, so I think we've introduced them all. So now, if you're ready, Hannes, to introduce the picks, then
Yes.
let's go with that.
So we have, I think someone speculated on it, Jim for Andy.
Back-to-back first rounder.
And also, maybe unsurprising, Alex, so 2 former world champions as first pick. And as suggested, Love carries the third pick. It's right way down, Henry. And another Alex Trigger for Tassas. For Johannes, we have Super Duck. It's probably
that's a good pick.
Whatever you play, whatever team, good pick. Current world champion. And I think someone speculated on Argento for Stelios. That's correct. And first, maybe let's say unconventional pick. For Francisco, we get a former regent, I think, maybe, Zarkor. So
that's true.
Pick from this tier. And then we get, I think, an excellent value for money.
Oof.
Miha for us.
Miha in round 1.
Almost beginning to look like I wouldn't be picked in round 1. That would be so embarrassing. So actually, the picking from the lower groups didn't make any difference now, so they go to the top anyway.
So that basically means that they put high value on those players because they didn't get a directed picking on that. So I think with strategic picks, not for the order. So.
Yeah, I think I've said this so many times. The best pick of this round is Mia. It is such a good pick in the first round. Mia said, "No, I'm not going before round 2." Bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start with Jim. So Jim has been picked first for 2 years in a row now. So he has the one here on Discord. So limited time. That's potentially problematic. Team Baratheon. What's that mean? Is that just a bug? And he is, according to win rate, he's the fourth most successful player in the tournament, behind another three that were already picked: Argento, Alex, and Superduck. These four, together with Jim, are above 70%, so really, really strong players. And yeah, Jim is not one of those who only plays the obvious decks. That's a huge advantage for him as well, I think. So he will contribute ever. And if something happens, okay, it's anti-speak, so nothing will happen. But just in case something did happen, he is also extremely tradable. I mean, everybody would want Jim. You would get something of equal value, right? You would be able to trade him for a super player or two and any agendas you want, basically.
100%. Yeah, Jim comes down as just basically a team player, you know, a great presence on the server, and like a master deck builder, on top of his already kind of prodigious piloting skills. So definitely a worthy back-to-back #1 pick for sure.
And then next up was Alex Vance. Again, going in so ignore the teams here. It's displaying teams for some reason. I don't know why. So again, goes first. He is a monster player.
1 second. Who's Alex France again? Just looking at his.
Yeah, has a 74% win rate. He's won the World Championship, the online World Championship. Has a card design. Plays every friendly open and wins it. Either he wins it or Super Duck wins it. So is amazing. Now he doesn't play that many different decks, to be fair, and doesn't play that many different factions. So last year he was traded. He was drafted in Night's Watch, but then got traded. Now I assume Cortius spoke to Alex before the tournament, and either he is trading him or not. They already know, probably, but I don't know. He doesn't play Lannister. Yeah. That's the thing. So are they playing Lannister together?
Question. Well, you know, Alex France is a phenomenal player, and you know, I really didn't think he played a ton of Baratheon, but he took it to great effect, to a very deep in the World Championship the past couple weeks. So, you know, I think he can play anything, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, for sure. So, Pierre, do you have any inside information on this one? Are they trading Alex? Are they playing Lannister together?
I really don't know. I think, like Jim, Alex has proven to be very strong with any possible faction in this game. So he was already a hard pick to get Alex in the team, but without knowing which factions you're gonna play, I think Alex stands in the right place, right beside Jim, among the top picks of this year draft. So I don't know if it's a global plan. Just going for Alex seems to me the right choice at this point.
Okay, and then we have, so apologies for going slowly on this. We'll take our time with the first rounders, and then we'll probably speed up the pace a little bit for the next few rounds. But we have to introduce these star players here. So yeah, Right Way Down, extremely active, extremely good since he's joined the game only recently, basically. He played last year, and then ever since he's been present in the community playing these team events, and yeah, winning a lot of his games, and he works so hard. He plays like 4 games per week in the World Cup with his buddy Rupert. So it's incredible. The question for me now is, what faction do they go for? But yeah, it's a very good first round pick.
I think they're going to do well in any faction they pick.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, they build all kinds of stuff, and this is just a perfect tournament. Then we have Alex from Greece. We saw just recently one of his games from Starek being published. Extremely strong, but doesn't play online that much, so he's not known to, I guess, that part of the community that became more active and came into the game basically with the pandemic, when things moved online, which includes basically me. I've known of him before, of course, but he doesn't play online that much. He's more of a in-person star, I guess, but joining this one, and he's extremely strong, so he has the 5th highest win rate of the tournament. Doesn't play every faction, and now does he play Targaryen? Let me check. Doesn't have a valid...
Well, he might start playing Targaryen.
Doesn't have a valid link here, so apologies, can't check him. But yeah, I wonder now what faction these two go for. And then we have Super Duck. Super Duck is top in the pavilion points. He's the reigning online world champion. Plays his fair share of Tyrell and Greyjoy, and he's won some pavilion points recently with Stark and with Baratheon and with Martell. So just he can do anything. Question is, of course, always with the Chinese players, how reachable they are and how much goofy decks they can build, because Super Duck doesn't really goof around, but he doesn't do only obvious decks either. He played Martell Cohort the other day and won with it. So
I can talk a bit about him because I was in the team that drafted him last year, and this is probably you can just look at the pavilion points, of course, but it's one of the best players for this format. He builds a lot. He tests decks. He wants to play weird stuff. He's so good, and he's very active on Discord. It's just an amazing pick.
yeah.
That's a win rate right there. look at that win rate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's a legend. I think you can't really go wrong with him.
Yeah, you can check this. So he has basically double the points of the next best player over the last year. So it's crazy. And yeah, he is a strong pick here, and he has tried so hard. So joined Discord recently. He's more active there, and I think probably part of the reason why there's another couple of Chinese players in this one as well. So yeah, it would be great to be on a team with Super Duck, but looks like it's not happening for me now. Then we have Argento. So yeah, well, one thing we can say about him, he is undefeated in 8 regions. He has won all of his games in the past 2 years, every single one of them. So what can you say?
He's a great player. He's just if you have him on Night's Watch or Stark, he's just so difficult to beat. Does he have experience with other factions? Is he an all-rounder?
He plays Bara, right?
Yeah, plays a lot of Bara as well. So yeah, all-round great players, 70% player. So of course you'll get what you draft, I guess. So a brilliant player.
Yeah, most of his games are with Night's Watch and Stark, and then Bara. Recently he's played a lot of this Fate Militant, which is just incredibly strong when he plays it, and then no one else does. So not sure.
I love it.
And he is the player with the highest win rate in the tournament, so just short of 75%.
And he went. What was that? 6th overall. Yeah, and for Stelios, who's rumored to have an affinity for Night's Watch, that seems like a very good pick.
Yeah, I think it's happening now, unless someone picks Night's Watch and ruins the party. But then Stelios could switch to Stark. Still has Sargento there, so.
Ugh, man, so many options there. That's scary.
Okay, then we have 7th pick is Sailcard. So he played with us in the World Cup for Slovenia. It was the main reason why we got to the cut and forced the extra game against China. He's won the vast majority of his games. New to the game, basically, he's played since the previous World Cup last year, and he's been extremely involved in the community, plays all kinds of stuff, and yeah, just when he plays the top decks, he does really well.
He's a very solid player.
Yeah, last year didn't go so well for him as a regent, but Night's Watch is tough. As I said, it's the most disliked faction in the tournament. Didn't get Argento as the star player, and then there's no other star player for Night's Watch that's immediately obvious. Rios was gone as well, so yeah, it was tough, but I think as a player here with Francisco, I mean, he is the perfect player. He plays all kinds of stuff. He's a great teammate, so very good pick. And the last one is myself. Okay.
Miha, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure, I've been playing mostly Baratheon, but I've tried, especially in the online years, the last 4 years basically, to play different factions as well, to diversify a little bit, and I take these tournaments extremely seriously, and if I get drafted into a new faction, I will build basically 30 decks, so 3/4 of all the available agendas to see what works and what doesn't. But I'm not Super Duck, so I'm not going to win 6 games. I'm going to give you maybe according to my win rate, 4 wins in 7 games or something like that. So I'm not sure it's worth it really, but yeah, I will stream the games, that's true. So maybe Urs wants that to happen.
That's right, the publicity pick. But no, like I remember when we were on Team Bera, you kind of led the charge for a lot of the, when we talk about spreadsheet skills and kind of like strategic picking and building of agendas, you were really kind of into that, and I think that's what got us over the line in that year for Team Bera. So yeah, it's an extremely strong pick for a team event like this.
Okay, so this was all very predictable, so go ahead, Hannes.
Second round, and the first next Greek player does not go to a Greek regent, but Consort, aka Bookerman, goes to Urs.
Oh no!
Then we have Francis, who goes to Francisco. Also, I guess just the naming.
They do share the name.
Basically,
yeah.
Same name.
That's right.
Yeah. Stelios, also former world champion. Stelios picks Lucas. I think he's the person who's won Champions of Westeros the most often. Johannes goes for Gresh, aka Neo, and he's a former German champion. And then Tassos goes for Rayos. I think an all-round superstar. And Peter, you have to bow to Rupert as your regent, unless you're traded.
We shall see. That is definitely a surprise pick there.
Yeah,
I like that.
Former regents are always hard to handle. They have to buckle
opinionated.
under.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got bend the knee.
Yeah. Let's see how that goes. And then we have the first pick from the third tier. It's Matt. So I think Curtius will definitely trade Alex for like 5 versions of The Long Voyage to compensate for that, so that I can also play some games.
The legend is still living, right?
Always.
It never happened. Never.
Yeah. And Andy picks Norcal, aka Alejandro. I think he's also a returning player, super strong. So that's the picks for round 2. So it's more varied here. And pick and type in the order for the next round.
Okay, so we have an interesting team developing here. So Buki, he didn't want to play Lannister because he played last year. He plays Tyrell mostly, and I wonder if that's the plan because Urs does as well. Yeah, he is solid, that's for sure.
Also plays a lot of Martell as well.
Yeah, and look at the agendas here, right? So he doesn't play Hollow here. I mean, even when he does, he plays some kind of icon control version, and he played Fate Militant out of Martell in the recent online worlds and made the cut. So, I mean, he is almost the perfect pick for this format. He will play all kinds of stuff, and if it is Martell now, if it's another faction, then things are a little bit different. And I think the plan probably with picking him was trying to jump the order as well a little bit, but then the other regents mostly picked green and grey players as well, so I wonder if that backfired a little for Urs. Francis? Well, Francis has been very active on Discord recently since returning to the game. I wonder if there has been some speculation that whoever picks him will pick Bobby as well. I wonder if that's going to happen. Very strong. Plays different stuff, likes to deck build, so... But what faction is he landing in?
Yeah. Yeah, I was with Francis on the 7K tournament and for the World Cup, and he's just a really involved player. Obviously a great pilot, a former world champion, and he's just really good to have on a team.
Yeah, didn't go first round, so let's see if his ego can handle that. Then we have Lucas. Lucas has dropped in the middle group somehow, I don't know how, magically. So still didn't write anything, but yeah. Oof.
Friends with Hannes.
So
he's a universalist, so he can play basically anything. So that's, I think, the greatest strength I would see from him, apart from being generally good. But he's,
yeah.
So
all trades. I predicted him to go in round 1 actually, because precisely for that reason. When you draft him, you don't need to draft a faction. Whatever happens, happens. Like, I'll just show you the stats. He plays everything basically.
I'm just imagining a Night's Watch team with Stelios, Argento, and Lucas on it, and I'm just kind of shivering at the
Yeah,
prospect.
that sounds amazing. I wonder though, Lucas has played Night's Watch last year, so given that he is so versatile and plays all kinds of stuff, I wonder if he might be bored of Night's Watch a little bit and he might be a trade piece. I don't know. Might
Maybe
be.
it's not his choice though.
Yeah, that's true. So then we have Neo from Poland. He is, also a player that is not so active these days, but he is amazing. Last year he was on my short list of players I wanted to have in the tournament, and he didn't end up registering because look at the stats, right? He plays all the factions and he has pavilion points here with 3 different factions. He's won tournaments with 4 factions, so really solid player and plays all kinds of stuff. And so what team did he land in? With Johannes with Super Duck. So yeah, they could go in any direction still. So that's a really good one.
Some of these teams shaping up are just scary.
Raius for Tassos. Yeah, superb win rate as well. Incredible deck builder. Went very early last year. I think he went in round 1 for Breton, right? So he is potentially still he's amazing, but we'll see what faction they land in. Then we have Peter. So Peter is the only player, I believe, who has won this tournament twice in the last 2 years. So are you winning it again?
Honestly, I think this is a really intriguing team with Rupert and Right Way Down because they're just such crazy deck builders and really dedicated players. But it is interesting because I was assigned Rupert last year as Team Targ as a random pick, and I traded him away. So perhaps this is a vengeance pick. Who knows? He wants to, pay me back in the same coin, send me to the wall or something. But regardless, I'm pretty happy about this pick. So
maybe you are a trade piece. I don't know because your stats say that you only play Baratheon and Targaryen. But are you looking to play a different faction here to learn a new faction, or would you prefer one of those?
I am fine with playing any faction. I have a personal hatred of Greyjoy, but I will play it if it comes down to it. So we'll see.
Okay. Then next up is Mad. So Mad has also just recently dropped down, so he has a win rate of above 50%, but Hannes did some magic and changed the formula a little bit, removed some buys, and Mad has dropped to the last group, which makes him, of course, incredibly good pick here, because you pick again. So French team, looking strong.
Oui, la baguette.
Which faction are you playing though? So are you up for playing Lannister with these guys?
I'm up to anything with these buddies. So maybe we'll discover very soon which factions Courtiers will pick for us. But I'm good with anything, so it's gonna be fine.
And finally, we have Alejandro, who has not played that much recently. He's played before the pandemic, of course, in the FFG days, and has one of the highest win rates in the tournament. I think number 6 on my list here. He plays Targ more than other factions, but not really a strong loyalist, so that he wouldn't be valuable anywhere else. So the question is, with him, of course, what shape he is in. Is he going to be rusty and not contribute much? He has the 1 here on the activity as well, or is he going to live up to his win rate and then he's incredibly strong as the 16th pick of the draft, basically?
Yeah, I don't. Alejandro is kind of a legendary player, going all the way back to the beginning of the 2nd edition. But there seems to be a pattern of Andy picking these players with 1s for their availability. So maybe Andy plans on doing a lot of work this tournament.
I wonder if he was going to pick Francis as well, but just missed out on him. Okay, are we done with the next round?
Absolutely. So, then we have Curtius picks House Greyjoy.
Ooh.
And I really, really hope he knows what...
You're breaking up, Hannes.
I don't know if you want to trade... Yeah. Okay, no matter. It was just a jibe at Pierre, obviously. Then we have another house pick. We have House Lannister for Rupert.
Oof. Okay. That's a bit surprising.
And Johannes picks Dennis. Urs takes WQB. VQB. So he's really looking like he was going for Martell, I think. I would, if I was a different region, I would now pick Martell just to spite him. And Andy has chosen Austin.
Ooh.
And Imric has taken Alex Fides, also I think a former regent. So from the lowest rank, so he can pick probably first. And you called it. We have the Night's Watch for Stilios. And Reinhard Schaftik for Francisco.
So just checking here. Is the order fine of the picks here? Shouldn't Stelios pick ahead of Urs in this round? Because Lucas is the middle group, right?
Well,
let's see. The chat is letting us know we are losing Hannes, but I think I'm hearing Hannes pretty fine. It was just one moment in the start there where Hannes disappeared, right? And the silence.
No, can't hear you, Hannes.
Yeah, Hannes muted himself now, but
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
So what was the question? I mean, by the way, it doesn't matter because we've already done it, so we're not going to repick. So you mean for the next? I don't get it, Mia. What was wrong supposedly?
So from round 2 to 3, the order was supposed to be right. So Cortius goes first, then Rupert, and then the next pick was supposed to be Johannes and Stelios, right? Because Stelios picked from the middle group, and then Urs. Stelios seems too low on the list here.
Okay, let us go back.
Or maybe Lucas has the wrong color, and he was supposed to be 60 plus. Because he is on the list I had.
The colors are fine. Maybe the order is fine, but I think if you pick the Night Watch, I think he... Anyway, we have to work with what we have now, and we'll go from forward from as it was. Nobody complained among the regions, so that's fine, I think. So.
Okay. Well, okay then. So House Greyjoy and House Lannister. Well, if everyone was expecting Cortius to pick Lannister, then I wonder if round 3 was a bit early to pick Greyjoy. I think it might have been available anyway, but yeah, he's committed to Alex. So, so what do you think, Pierre? Greyjoy with Alex and Cortius?
Yeah, I think with Greyjoy and Alex, we can sail wherever we want. So, yeah, I agree with you. Maybe he proved to be very open, and it's a will he had not to stick to Lannister right there. So I think it's good to display it this way. But I also think that Greyjoy could have been available a bit later on. So, but maybe he wanted to try the whole experience with Greyjoy and Alex in his team. So now it's on. We're unstoppable, right?
Yeah, and Rupert picks Lannister right behind that, right after that. So they have played, Rupert and Henry have played Lannister quite a bit. They played in Seven Kingdoms, built a few interesting decks with that we didn't think were the obvious Lannister choices. So everyone else had the usual suspects, but they played some crazy aloof and apart deck and the white book that wasn't super typical, and an alliance deck. So yeah, and they have Peter in their team, so that's the starting team. They have arguably the best faction, the one that's been doing the best recently. And yeah, are you
Castamere in every deck. That's right.
feeling good with this, or
I'm excited. I'll put Castamere in every deck. It's amazing.
still have Marton in the pool of players, still have Nikolaus Melder, so if
There
they
are
can,
quite a few Lanny players
yeah,
left
if they
here.
can
I
get a
think
few
there's
Lanny players, things could happen.
Very good team. I agree.
Then we have Denis. Denis goes in round 3. Now Denis has also dropped to the second group if the colors are correct, which is bizarre, but he's had some struggles a few months ago. His win rate is picking up again, but he's had a drought in between that's dropped him to a lower win rate. He is an amazing player, so the problem with him is that he plays Star Crossing in every tournament. And Johannes has Neo, who has won, as you said, German Nationals with Stark, I think last year or the year before, and has Super Duck. So, yeah, looking good. I mean, he's got an amazing player here, and again, Chrissy still in the draw, right? So, oof.
A Stark super team could definitely be assembled from this.
Yeah. I think people need to react very soon to this and just grab Chris because this looks ugly, guys.
Well, we have to also be realistic. How many crossings can they field into this tournament? Like,
Yeah, about 4 probably.
right? So if they get 4 wins, right?
Yeah, and Stark had the team last year as well, but it's not the strongest faction for this format. So they don't have, let's say, 25 agendas that are known decks like Baratheon or Targaryen do. So they need the manpower for sure. Then WQB for Martel. He is just at the end of the list of players I copied here with the highest win rate. He's number 8, so can't argue with that pick. I mean, he plays the Hollow Hill deck. That's the only issue mainly. So we'll see how playing other stuff goes. But yeah, very active and very strong player. Doesn't lose a lot.
Very good player. Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Then we have Austin. So another pick along the lines of Alejandro, right? So he's played the World Cup, so he's a bit more involved recently, but also put one on the activity here, and he has a really strong win rate again. But yeah, most of it is from the FFG times.
Yes, but he did play on our team for USA for World Cup, and he's a very strong player. He was very active here in the next circuit back in FFG, and he has a good mind for the game, and he's been taking to the new cards pretty well. And there's rumors that he's washed up, but I think that may be disproved in this tournament.
Yeah, we'll see. Then we have Alex from the Czech Republic, was regent of Baratheon last year.
So, yeah. Also plays Targ.
Yeah, he played the Targ the year before, so he goes in Tassos' team.
It should be noticed right now that currently Tassos is in the lead for having the most Alexes on his team. That was definitely an edge for us last year in Team Targ. We did have 2 Alexes, and they both performed very well.
Yeah, running out of them now, actually, so... yeah, and he's from the lowest group, so that gives Tassos gives him the next pick, basically, so...
Gives him Targaryen for the next pick.
But Reinhardt went just before that. So Night's Watch for Stelios, like we expected. So basically Stelios has now assembled a Night's Watch team with Argento and Lucas Abelsfeld, so going well there. And then we have Reinhardt. So he is in danger of not landing in Targ this time. So he will play any faction. Like he said that every year basically, because there's no guarantees, but he's landed in Targ anyway, and he went pick 24. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? But he does play Targ exclusively, so
and he doesn't just play Targ good stuff decks. One of his best decks out of Regions last year was a Brotherhood deck that he took to Stalik and took to the top 16, right? So he will play very, kind of weird decks as well, and will help build and help test. He's just great to have on a team.
Oh yeah, and as we can see, Tassos picked Tark, so currently he's not in Tark. So he might have to adapt, or he might have to be traded.
Might be a trade piece, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And with another house pick, we have House Stark, I think also as he suggested with for Johannes. And then we get Steven, our amazing game design leader and TIT wizard. I don't know what we would do without him. And Francisco basically also thinks he's worth throwing him against his opponents. And Stelios picks Marcel. Also probably a good choice. Andy gets Tom McKenzie. Urs now, and I think the other regions. Let me tell you, you fucked this up. Yeah, you should have picked Martel now before he does. So I would have loved to see them. I don't know. I have to play Tyrell with that combo, but they get what they wanted, so it's Martel. And Rupert takes Marton, aka Cass, for Lannister. Does seem like a very sensible choice. And Curtius takes Schweik.
Ooh.
So that's an interesting pick.
It is.
Oof, okay. Where do we begin? So, Targaryen for Tassos, which means now Reinhardt is out of action potentially, and Tassos has Alex, he has Raios, and he has the other Alex. So, none of the winning team from last year, basically.
Well, Francisco also has Francis Coate, who is a Targ world champion on his team. He and Reinhard on the same team, but not Targaryen. So this is very intriguing.
And Alejandro also not on the team, so yeah, that's interesting. Johannes, on the other hand, has more of a Stark team here, so with Neo and with Super Duck and with Dennis, he's taken Stark before it's lost, and amazingly, Chris is still there, Richard Walker's still there. They were the top 2 players 2 years ago when Stark finished second, so some people getting away with murder again.
It's Stark again, right?
Then we have Steven. Okay, so Steven never lands in Martel for some reason. He's played with me both times. He's played in Baratheon, he's played in Tyrell, and this time he's landed in Francisco's team. So does Francisco have a faction? Not yet, right?
Oh, not yet.
Ooh, so what's still left? Baratheon is still left. And is that the only one?
And Tyrell.
Ooh, okay. So that's interesting if they land in the same faction as last year. Steven, by the way, is a good sport. He will play lots of different stuff. The question is how busy he is, of course, because he has so much going on with the community. Then Marcel, he got to Team Martel twice, not as early as he should have, because he's a great Martel player, and this time Urs has missed out on him, which is a real shame for him, but he lands in the Night's Watch team. Let me just check his pedigree here with Night's Watch. Doesn't have that much, but he plays all the factions, as you can see. So, and look at the agenda spread. So he will not stick with the top decks. He will play different stuff, which is superb for this format. He's one of those players that's well worth having. And then the same pattern for Andy continues. Tom McKenzie is another player with a very strong win rate that has been kind of absent since FFG said goodbye to the game. He played the World Cup for USA, so he's back, and he has more a bigger number here, higher number on the activity.
Tom was very involved with a lot of the testing this year on Team USA, and he notoriously had some very poor luck in a lot of the games. So I think he's due for some favorable matchups and some wins in this tournament.
And Andy also doesn't have a faction, right?
He does not.
So 3 factions are left.
All-American team? Or is it All-Americans?
All-Americans so far.
So far. So we have Baratheon, Tyrell, and the last faction that's still available is...
It's just those two.
But Johannes is taken Stark, so that's why he's white.
Stark,
okay, so
yeah.
that's
Mhm.
okay. Interesting. I'm not sure which one they'll land on here. Dan Martell for Urs. We kind of saw that coming. Maybe I probably committed quite early, so he, as I said, he plays Stark and Martell. But given the choices he made, clearly he was leaning towards Martell. And then Rupert getting away with murder. I mean, Marton went immediately last round in... oops. Why is there no Marton in the...
Type in chess.
Here we go. He has the A with the mark on it. So yeah, he went I think at the beginning of round 2 last year, and now he's dropped to pick 31, which is ridiculous. Now the reason for that is, of course, that he is such a loyalist, and no one that wasn't planning to play Lannister here was that worried about Martin, and they get him for free, like Targ always gets Reinhardt. So that's amazing for them. He plays 1,000 different Lannister decks. He's a perfect deck builder, very strong win rate, and one of the best players in the game. And we end with Schweig, who actually, I think the faction he plays most is Baratheon. Lands with Courteous's Greyjoy team here. Crappy deck builder? I don't think so, honestly.
Team Stalak.
Yeah, he has close to 60% win rate as well, so that will be a good one for them. So ready for next round, Hannes?
They are still choosing, but boy, maybe we can reveal the first half already.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. So now for Curtis we get Richard Walker, aka Hagar, and then we have for Stelios Chrissy.
Good.
I don't know if there's another Dutch player here, no, but
Night's Watch can play Crossing as well. Chrissy's a great player.
And then very, very good value for money, Sarah for Francisco.
Ooh, without affection.
Yeah, third tier for her, but I mean, she's only won Champions of Westeros once, so maybe third tier is also fine there. Okay, and we get Paul for Rupert.
It's a good pick.
And for Ors, we get Nicholas Mulders. And now we are still waiting on the next picks.
I think the color there for Sarah isn't correct, right? Shouldn't be the yellow color. Just so that we don't have any mistakes.
Yeah, there must be an issue there.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but she's gray. In the Regents dashboard, she's gray. I don't know.
That's fine. I think it suits her. Okay, so I'm quite happy that Stelios has stolen Chrissy from Johannes, because picking Chrissy in the 5th round of picks would have been ridiculous. So, good job. Should we have a look at these 5 players while we wait? So we have Richard. He plays Greyjoy quite often, actually. He plays, I think, mostly Stark and Greyjoy. First year of the 8 Regents was one of the undefeated players. Was incredible for a Stark. Last year he had a bit less time, so didn't play that many games. But yeah, really strong pick. Some of the players that usually play Greyjoy are missing this year. There's no Alexander Schulte, guys like that. So yeah, it was quite important, I think, to get Richard here.
Yeah, he's a good pick.
Then Chrissy goes to the Night's Watch team. So Chrissy is actually kind of similar to Martin, even more so. He plays Stark more than 3/4 of the time. Is that how you say that? And
3/4, yeah.
three quarters. That's what I was going to say. And the blue, the white thing here that's missing is usually the champions of Westeros, where the faction isn't entered. So that I'm guessing he mostly played Stark in that as well. So he's a true loyalist. And okay, there is a bit of Stark fealty, Stark reigns here dominating, but he plays different ones as well. So I think it's would be a good one in Stark, but that's not how things worked out. So wonder maybe a trade piece, or is he keeping it him because he does win a lot? That's the thing.
Well, last year he played in Lannister, so he can play in other factions for sure.
Yeah. Then we have Sarah. So she plays Stark more than the other factions, but has played some different stuff this year as well, and has played a lot of Baratheon and has pavilion points. A lot of pavilion points in Baratheon, more than in Stark actually, and I wonder, since she's in a team that doesn't have a faction yet, if Baratheon is going to be the way they go, in which case it would be a really nice pick for them. And then we have Polly. Oops, sorry. Landing in the team of Rupert, so that's now already confirmed to be Lannister. A very active player, good win rate recently, closing in on that 60% even. So
he also has great Photoshop skills.
Does he?
He does. Did you not see the second place Greyjoy?
No. Must have missed that.
Oh my goodness! You got to read the Discord. Come on.
Maybe it was just paint after all, but yeah.
Well, that shows what I know.
But he put that everywhere. You must have seen it, Mia. Everyone have seen it.
No, sorry. Look for it later. Oh, okay, we've completed. I'll just read them, Hannes, so that you don't need to bother. So we have Cold Humbert for Andy, then we have Mates for Johannes, and Hero for Tassos. Hero in round 5. How is that possible? Okay, so we go to Nicholas. So he put Lannister as the faction he dislikes, even though he is a loyalist. I think he's one of those people who misread what that question was. Actually, it's not such a loyalist. He plays all kinds of stuff, but he's had the biggest success basically with Lannister. Played it for Austria in the World Cup, and went extremely well.
He could be bored, although he did say long-time loyalista.
Yeah, he doesn't have that much time, so I wonder if they want to trade. If Lannister wants to trade for Nicholas, I mean, the price has to be pretty big. He's really strong. So, or maybe he wants to play Martell, which would be interesting. Then we have Cold Humbert, so another American player, who is another one of those versatile players. I checked his profile the other day, and he also plays a lot of different factions. Mainly plays Martell and Tyrell, but the others as well. But he also not that active recently, so he's played a little bit, I think, even after FFG days, right? But then nothing until Team Regionals 2022, and nothing since then, so more than a year. So one of those potential risks, but if it works out, very strong player that went quite late in the draw.
He has a big upside, so I think it's a good pick by Andy.
And then Mates. Okay, so he lands, what is the team? Stark. Lands in Stark, which he has been playing, to be fair, mostly in the recent Champions of Westeros that he has won. So that was the first tournament he's won. He's above 50% now. He was my teammate last year in Tyrell. Really good player, and likes to experiment, likes to play all kinds of stuff, likes to play his own decks, and clearly on the rise. And I think he could have gone earlier as well. And then speaking of earlier, I mean, how did Hero land in how did he go in round 5? I mean, is it round 5? Yeah, round 5, the last pick of round 5. Actually, he was a potential Greyjoy player that could have been picked, right? Doesn't have Discord, has limited time, so that much is true, but he plays all the friendly opens, so clearly is very involved, and the win rate is superb. Superb in Greyjoy.
Yeah, he's a very good player, but of course he's limited by the restrictions in China very much. So the regent for him should get WeChat ASAP and use that, because that works great to chat on that program. So it shouldn't be a problem if the regent is willing to just go ahead and get that app.
Yes, and we are ready for the next round. So Francisco picks first, and then Johannes, the rest picked from the top group. Yeah, so looking at, so the factions stay in the spreadsheet. So there's only basically 2 more players from the top group. Martin Lewis is still there, so he put I think 1 on the activity, and also the Chinese player Jing Jiaming is an incredible Night's Watch player. So if Stelios could steal him, that would be amazing. Go ahead, Hannes. See, we are ready.
Okay, yeah. So I'll give them now bit by bit. So that speeds it up a little. We have a faction pick, Tyrell by Francisco. Not a big surprise. I think that's very good for him to be able to pick in round 6. His probably favorite faction. So well played. I feel there was not much, competition for the factions across the regions. Maybe they had a kind of tacit agreement on that. And then worth as much as like 3 factions. We have Magnus for Johannes. And then Palpa goes to Rupert. Always good to have an admin on the team, I would say. And it also prohibits him from whining about how weak Tarks is when he has to play Lannister. And then we have Jing Jiaming for Tassos. And for Andy, we get, I think he's fielding a mostly American team. I think, is he American, Martin Nays?
Yes, he played for the USA team in the World Cup.
This is starting to get boring, what Andy does here.
Well, I mean,
it's also just
imagine,
coordination around the time zone.
Imagine if he can't trade now because he wants to keep all of them. That's going to backfire.
Well, it sounds like that they just need to boot me from the World Cup server and they'll have a team.
But I mean, Magnus, right? You were a regent in the first installment, and you didn't trade anything, and you still made top 10 with your team, right? So you can do that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, do we have the pick for Urs yet, or?
Oh my god! I mean, I don't know if I'm not sure if this is a serious pick or Martin to Martell. It's like this. I don't know. I only know for Martin that he doesn't play against Martell if he doesn't have to in the tournament.
Well, now he doesn't have an excuse to skip a game.
Totally.
He'll never play against them.
Oh, exactly. Wow. Okay,
That's
I didn't
right.
think about it that way. Yeah, it's actually maybe it's the only logical faction for him. Yeah.
The only thing that makes sense. He needs to embrace the pain.
Yeah, this is a perfect pick by Urs. Urs has done his homework. This is perfection.
And we get Nico for Night's Watch. I know that he wondered whether, he's not a loyalist, but he has a very soft spot in his heart for Tyrell, whether he would get picked by Tyrell, but no, he doesn't. And Thomas Trojan, what's his Lobo Thomas? I think is goes to Curtis.
Oof. Okay. Very interesting.
Second tier player, yeah. I'll have the next lineup ready very soon.
Okay, careful now because the colors are a bit messed up. Yeah. Okay, so we have Tyrell for Francisco, which is of course to be expected. The only thing is he basically now has Steven, who has played it last year, and he has a couple of players that are kind of a little bit out of action, Francis and Reinhardt, but I don't know, maybe he can do some trades. Although I don't know if he can get Super Duck.
Does Sarah play, Tyrell?
Not a lot really. So
Well, now she will.
yeah,
that's the spirit.
that she was hoping to land in Baratheon, but we'll see.
It looks like no one was hoping to land in Baratheon, judging from these faction choices.
Yeah, it's going to end now, so he doesn't have to pick it before the last
final round
before
Baratheon
the
pick.
randoms.
Maybe if the restricted lists change before the beginning of the tournament, that might make Baratheon more appealing. But yeah, I get why it was picked last.
Yeah, and then we have Magnus goes in Johannes' Stark team. So he is a beloved member of the community. He is not a very good player, but he tries his best. And,
Beloved? What?
Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
No,
It's gonna be great. I think that like being picked by Johannes, that he will pick a cool team. So it looks like a very good team so far. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, you went quite early previous years, being in the last group. This year a little bit later, but I think now it's quite a steal actually if you can go in round 6, especially win rate rising recently. Great World Cup with that Targaryen deck. Unfortunately, I was one of the victims. Annoyed me a little bit, but okay, I'll get over it.
Yeah, I think also he gets the first pick for the next round, so a very tactical pick as well, I believe. So let's see. I might be chopped in a trade later. Who knows? But of course, these are guys I'd love to play with. So it's going to be interesting to see.
And then we have Palpa. So Palpa doesn't go the last of the regents, the rest of the organizers. Hannes is still there, amazingly. I don't know how, but he's still there.
Yeah.
And Rupert has snatched Palpa just before Tassos could get him, which is another cute move. I wonder if that was on purpose. So he's played Targ twice. He only plays Targ really, but he's provisionally in Lannister. Now, Tassos' team is a little bit, let's say, incoherent in terms of players playing a certain faction. So it's very tradable, so he might be active, and we can't really make too many conclusions. But so far, he lands in Lannister.
I think Papa is going to start playing some Lannister. I'm excited for this.
Papa was picked for Lannister, right?
He was picked for Lannister.
Yeah. This is a really good pick. He's a really, really good player.
He is.
So I think his loyalist tag forces him all this way down in a draft order. But this is going to be a great faction for him as well. Like a bit aggro play here is going to be amazing for him. It's a really good pick.
There's jumping. I think he's going to like it. And I have to note that. After Stark, Lannister was the faction he complained about the most last year. So about facing, and he did beat Lannister in that matchup, but I think he already kind of is well suited to the playstyle. So I'm really excited to be on the same team with him again.
Did you want to say
by
something?
the way,
Hannes?
a small note. Like, if we have 11 players left, I would be surprised. We'll probably have 10 players in one faction left. And then what we'll do is the faction gets assigned, of course, first to the remaining team, and then the last 10 players will be randomized.
Yeah, actually, we made the rule just before the draft that you have to take it in the last round if it's your last pick and you don't have a faction. So
very smart.
Okay, so Jaiming, Night's Watch player mainly. Very grindy. The Chinese national champion actually. He played that amazing Night's Watch Alliance deck with, I think it was 3 companies and banner Sun with War Scorpions and Dawn Illinois and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So very strong really in Night's Watch, and didn't survive until Asterios' next pick, but he goes in another piece that's very tradable in Tassos' team. So I wonder if that might be the plan.
Yeah,
And-
this is also a Nightwatch like really loyalist, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. And I've seen him on Discord.
Yeah,
So
he's joined
this
some
is
servers.
interesting.
So it's very nice to see, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think the restrictions for Discord have been lifted in any way. I think players just going out of their way to join Discord, which is amazing.
It's great to hear.
Then we have Martin for Andy. So he's another guy that beat me in the World Cup recently with the Night's Watch deck, lands in Stark. Another one of those with limited time. Maybe Andy's team should get an extra player. 3 teams will get an 11th player, so he looks like he might need it. Doesn't play a lot of Stark, Martin. Stark, Baratheon. We're looking at it,
Baratheon, yeah.
But he plays
Well, it
some
should be-
Baratheon, 3 tournament entries.
So Martin actually lives in the same town as me here in the United States, so we play in person frequently. And he actually was the co-regent for the winning team, Baratheon, in Thronetoberfest in 2019, along with Strongbra, also known as Austin Restaino. So we have some Baratheon, experienced players for these team tournaments on Andy's Baratheon team. So this seems like it kind of worked out for them.
Yeah. And then we have Martin Lewis. So he put Stark as the faction he dislikes here. So does he really dislike Martell? I mean, he's played Martell the most, right? I remember in the past he played the great Assault from the Shadows deck with Varys and stuff like that.
It's been very vocal about some archetypes to play against, at least. So Martell has been one of them. So I'm not sure, to be honest.
Well, it would be sad to have to trade him, but he is valuable as a trade piece, so it shouldn't be too difficult if he dislikes Martell. But yeah, apart from having limited time, he is quite a creative guy, so good for this format. And then Nico, one of the best players for this format in my opinion, plays all his own decks, doesn't take just the obvious top deck. And the problem is he's landed in Night's Watch again, which he played last year already, and I think he might not want to, but that's just a guess. He's a good sport usually, so we'll see what happens with him. Yeah, I also made the cut at Worlds right recently, so really strong. As did the next player, Lobotoms. He was King of Swiss with Lenny, but he doesn't get picked until round 6 here and goes to Greyjoy, which actually, if you think he's a Lenny player, no, he plays Greyjoy the most, and he is a great Drowned God player, which could be a disadvantage in this format if you are predictable, because Drowned God is, I mean, it's one deck that's played the same whatever you do. You can't be too creative with that, and then if it gets countered, you're in trouble. But it's a great asset to have in Greyjoy, even as a deck builder, because they will have to play some Drowned God.
I think it should be really, emphasized that even with his amazing deck that made King of Swiss and Worlds, it had a lot of Greyjoy cards in it. So it's very much on brand for both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So then we have the next round, and Johannes picks Jakob.
Phew.
Curtius takes Geralt. And Stilios takes Templar. I think that's also a loyalist choice. Andy takes Jordan Davis. Rupert takes Colin. Urs takes Connor. Yeah, also I think a frequent Mattel player. Tassos commits suicide and picks me. So let's see how that goes.
Steal in a lot, like second to last pick.
No, I'm fine. I wanted to go randomly, but I think
that would never happen.
And then we're still waiting for Francisco's choice.
Look at the players that haven't been picked yet. I mean, Gabriel Ranes, he made the cut at Worlds recently. He's played amazingly for Austria in the World Cup, and he's survived. And he's not even in the top group, so you don't screw yourself that much if you in the draft order. I mean, oof.
Okay, Mia, you're basically saying about everybody that they should have be picked earlier. That's logically not possible. So now you have to pick some people that have been picked already and said, "Oh no, they should have gone down." So, who would you have rated down? So who was picked too early?
Oh, you're not gonna get me to say stuff like that. So I will dodge that one.
This Odorol fella, man, going in round 1. What's about this? This Peter Shuck, round 2. Man, these are green players that pick in the first 2 rounds. They should only be gold.
Okay.
And we get anti-Cara for Francisco.
Okay, so Jakob is, I think, mainly Martel guy. And lands in Stark here. Yeah, you can see by the description here that he, and of course 3 on the activity, is a very good guy for this kind of format. Yeah, plays Martel more than anything else, but doesn't have that many tournament entries, amazingly, so he has a good win rate. He's played a few years ago in Stahleck and then not anything since then. I assume there's not a second profile, but more recently coming back into the game. Played very successfully in the World Cup as well. He goes in Johannes' team, and Johannes didn't take Geralt, who actually is a very strong Stark player, but he has played Stark already 2 years ago in this tournament. Last year there was a trade proposed that would get him to Stark, but he ended in Tyrell, and this time he is provisionally in Greyjoy, another very strong player that can do different stuff. And then we have after that Templar. So Templar, we know he is a true Night's Watch loyalist, so I don't think he is tradable at this point. Just grabbing him cheaply in round 7, is it? For Stelios, he will bring some wins. He plays 1,000 different decks. He doesn't play Night's Watch Valyrian Steel in every tournament like you would imagine. Like, for instance, Thomas used to do. Just pick the strongest deck and play it in every single tournament and make the cut in every single tournament. Templar plays a different one in basically every week, which is amazing. Exactly what we need.
He did play Baratheon in the World Championship, so it should be noted.
Yeah, that's true.
It might have been False Banner. It might have been 90% Night's Watch cards, but he did play it.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, strengthening the USA team here is Jordan Davis. I think he played Stark last year, did he? I seem to remember that.
Jordan is a very well-rounded player and deck builder, and Stark is kind of his bread and butter, but he'll play anything.
Yeah, lands in Baratheon provision. So factions can be traded, by the way, but somehow now that people are committing, I don't know if they will be. I kind of expect no faction will be traded in this tournament, but it is possible in theory. Then another American that has not survived to be picked by Andy is Colin Weir. So he's yeah, you will remember Colin. Of course, he was the main rules guy a few years ago when FFG was still in charge. What does he play mainly?
He plays a lot of Martel. He was kind of a backup for us on the USA World Cup team, but notably he's been building a lot of cat decks, and he plays Lannister. So I think he's a very good pick by Rupert for this tournament.
Yeah, I do love my cats. So Connor lands in Martel. Well, he's played Martel in the past, as we know. Now, does he play Martel exclusively? No.
He's back to Dorne.
Are you annoyed, Connor, by this, or are you staying?
There's no escape from Dorne. For Connor, at least.
Yeah. Okay. And then Hannes goes. I mean, that's another ridiculous one, right? So it's extremely underrated, precisely because he's again one of those people that will not play Knights of Valyrian Steel or Starkfield in a tournament. He will play Prince, Caitlyn, and stuff like that. And of course, it drops your win rate a little bit, but it increases your value for this kind of tournament tremendously. And I think
Prince
Hannes...
Caitlyn actually raised my win rate. I will defend her. She gave me like, I don't know, 4 out of 6 wins. So I'll stand by her. Some other picks were maybe more dubious in the past, to be honest.
do you fancy Targaryen?
Yes, very much so. I was just looking not to go to Martell or Night's Watch because I played them before. And yeah, I have a slight allergy against dedicated burn decks, but I mean, Tark has so much other flavors that I think I'll be very happy there.
And finally, it's Antti. Antti, I think, played for one of the Norwegian teams, Baratheon, in the World Cup. Lands in Tyrell here. 3 on the activity as well. So
he was playing that really strong Brotherhood deck for Team Norway and was doing super well with it too. Great player.
I remember we lost to that.
So did we.
Yeah, it's a good pilot. When he gets some time to practice his deck, is a really strong player, and he likes yellow cards though, so it's interesting.
So we have 2 more rounds, if we've not miscalculated. So we have 5 players here from the middle group, and then a bunch more from the other. So 16 still need to be picked, and then that should leave 11 if nothing went wrong. And Baratheon still needs to be picked. That will be the last pick for Andy, presumably, unless he wants to pick it earlier.
I don't see any reason why he would. Just might as well leave it to the auto pick.
So who's the strongest player still left in the tournament? Oof. Gabi's still here.
Eric is very strong as well.
Yeah, that's some picks that could have gone in the very early rounds still here. Bobby's still here, by the way. So is he getting picked by Francisco? Is he getting picked by Rupert? Or is he not getting picked?
Well, I think the ultimate sting would be him not getting picked and then being assigned to Night's Watch again.
Fabro, by the way, is a good player from Poland that plays mainly Tyrell, so maybe Francisco might be looking at him. Although, I mean, how can you not pick Gabriel here? We'll see. By the way, guys, does the chat work correctly on screen? Or does it only show up when
looks like it. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And his chat answers as well. Yes.
We'll fix the colors and stuff for next time, but there just wasn't the time.
All right, I'll just start with the next pick. We have Francisco picks Floydus, and another former regent goes to Tassos, Kairong. And for Rupert, we get Haruspex, aka Ben. I think that's a very fitting in terms of playstyle, probably. And the no, I missed it. Sorry. Com first goes to Urs. Com goes to Urs, and Haruspex goes to Rupert. And Andy takes Gabi. And which is, I think, for 8th round, nice pick. Stelios takes Morg, also not the worst, I think. And then Mates goes to what's his name here? I hate it when people have different names everywhere. And just go check.
The drama. Who is it?
No, wait a second. Oh yeah, it was he double picked. So what's the okay. He wanted to pick Mattes again, but that's why I got confused. He's already picked, obviously. So instead, but nice try, Curtius. So why not? I'll pick Jim again. Eric instead also, I think, a decent pick goes to Curtius. And then we're waiting for Johannes.
Waiting for Johannes. Okay. I still see a couple of really strong players there.
How many rounds do we have left? This is the last round?
One more after
last
this.
round is coming.
One more last round?
One more
round
after this one, yeah.
And then we
Okay,
spin the wheel again.
Yeah, but okay. Then wait a minute, and I'll do the correct lineup here. Fucking hell.
And
Okay, let's see.
Fabro goes to Johannes.
Okay. So Floydos goes to Francisco. So he plays Martel more than other factions. He has a couple of profiles actually that I don't think have been merged correctly, so I can't really show you his full history. But he is, a good pick I think for Francisco. Let's see if I can't. We're not getting anything from this because it's only Martel, but he will be, I think, a guy that's involved in trying to make stuff happen for the not so obvious stuff. Then my regent from last year, Kai Rong, was a really great regent, by the way. He's back as the second Hungarian player, along with Marton. They have stayed around to play this tournament. And yes, so he also, I think, stats will show Tyrell many, but I think he will be a good sport in any faction. Won't be one of those guys that will want to be traded, I think. Com was part of the winning Targaryen team, if I'm not mistaken, last year. Goes in Team Martel. Doesn't have as much time this time. And okay, so are we talking about a really big loyalist here? Kind of, but has played other stuff as well. So
he was very active on the Targ server last year, and he helped craft some of our kind of most unexpected decks. One of which I've actually been playing around with, leveraging Skahazadon. He and Andy cooked up something with Skahazadon and the big dragons, and trying to make them cost cheaper. And that was a lot of fun. So he's great to have on a team.
As a comp?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a attrition thingy, so it might be fitting well in this team as well. So, yeah, good pick.
And then we have Haru Specs.
Yeah. So he's a Berlin-based American player, and he also likes to play jumpers and unusual decks. So I think he'll fit in well with Rupert and Henry and the team there.
Yeah,
he's very creative and a great guy. We both struggled in the Berlin Nats a year ago and had a really great final game where we were drinking more beers than playing cards. So a great guy, and I think this is gonna be amazing.
I'm excited to play on the same team as him, so it'll be fun.
And then Gabriel Runner goes to Baratheon. I don't know. I'm slightly annoyed with this, I have to say, because he is as chance would have it, of course, he is also a very strong Baratheon player. He played it for Austria in the World Cup, and he made the online worlds. And I think the only reason he wasn't picked before is because he had a different profile that said Gabi and now says Gabriel, and maybe someone got confused and didn't know who he was, or just Andy was incredibly lucky here to land him.
This seems like a steal for Andy.
It's
Although,
ridiculous.
I guess he'll have to be an honorary American at this point. Are there any other non-Americans on the team?
He's gonna trade him away.
Yeah, Baratheon loyalist too. No, I think it's good. I think that's a great pick for Andy.
Yeah, imagine if he trades him away. I mean, he could try to offer him for Peter, right? But
Yeah, for sure he got value, so he's gonna try to trade him for sure. So
That'd be a
that's gonna be
sweet deal from the look of it, I'm sure.
yeah, if that was offered, I mean, Peter went round 2 and Gabriel is round 8 now. So I would then say, okay, fair enough, but also you have to give us Jim Henson on top of that.
Yeah, Team Andy says in the chat that yeah, we'll give him a green card. So yeah, there we go.
Then we have Mog. Mog was the Lenny regent last year. So he lands in Night's Watch, and he does play some Night's Watch, doesn't he? Yeah, it's his second most played faction. And look at the agendas for all the factions. That's what you need in this tournament. Look at the Lenny agendas. People that
Second
play
most
everything.
played faction. By just a little bit, a tiny bit of second played most.
Yeah, but I think this is a great pick. So late as
Yes,
well.
I think he'll be good.
Yeah, and Mug, he ended up as a random pick for a Nightwatch in the first edition, and he was one of the best players for us, playing a bunch of big guys decks, and did terrific. So it's a really good pick at round 8. So
Yeah.
this is great for Stelios there.
Yeah, he's a very good player and an awesome builder, very creative builder. And just like what was said about Hannes before, he likes to play fun decks in tournaments. So that's not good for his win rates and his statistics, but it doesn't take anything for his talent with cards.
And then we have Eric for the Greyjoy team. So he was another one of my teammates from last year. It was, I think he's a really good pick for this format. The first thing when we joined together was, okay, I have a Banner Falcon deck that I can make work and stuff like that, and that's exactly what you need to play those weird decks. And then Fabro survives for Tyrell. I think probably slightly underrated here because stats show a good win rate and lots of Tyrell tournaments. So I think he's a good one. But in Stark. So we'll see. By the way, guys, next round is the last one before we go to the random pick. So Andy has to pick now Baratheon. Just so we know.
All right. And then Stelios rounds off his choices by Ilya Muromets. He is the only other regent who won the tournament before Peter. Right? So that goes to Night's Watch. And Rupert takes Bobby. So
Controversial pick for Lannister.
Reunion. Yeah. And Urs takes Katarina. And then we have Tassos taking Mon Snow. And Francisco takes Mr. Yellow. And then we're waiting on the 2 final picks. So that seems to be tough ones for Johannes. And
I mean, it's not that tough. He still has
So
options here. Still has good options.
Yeah, he takes René.
Ooh. Just before Greyjoy.
Yeah. And Curtius now takes some time, so I guess, yeah, he probably might have wanted to take him as well. And then after Greyjoy's last pick, we will go to the random assignments of the rest to mix it up a little bit.
So who's the last guy? There are some people here that shouldn't be random picks, honestly.
Wild stuff.
I mean, it's always going to be like that. So I think it's like Hannes said that yeah, he wanted to be around the pick. So it's just we could all end up there, just missing this draft because of some tweaks, and especially when we're drafting factions as well, that people will be overlooked. So it is what it is, guys.
Okay, and we get Justin for Curtius.
Okay, and Baratheon, right?
Glinstein.
Well.
All right, yeah, and Baratheon for Andy.
I honestly thought the Greyjoy pick here was super obvious, but I was wrong again. Okay.
Okay, we have one player from the second tier left, Storm. Okay, interesting. I think he's a very creative deck builder, so whoever gets him, I think, will be lucky. And there are also some other interesting picks. I think, as I know from Team Germany, that Feline is underrated here. She came back to the game, and I think she'll do well. Played a mean Greyjoy Winter deck there. Some of the others, Marek, I hate playing against Marek. I don't know. I don't know why he has such a low win rate. I don't know. I always feel like it's very, very, very hard to play against him.
Marek has gone randomly twice already, so he's always hoping to get Marek when he's still left like that. Yeah, Storm as well, and the player I was looking at that I can't pronounce, Francoism, this is the player who reached the cut at Online Worlds recently with Greyjoy Brotherhood, so I mean I would have gambled on that.
You could do worse.
Yeah. So Ivailo we have for Night's Watch, yeah, great regent in the first year of the tournament. For Baratheon, he is an incredibly good sport and helped us practice a lot. Played through COVID there that month, and it was amazing. And look at the agendas again here, spread of actions and all the agendas. So he's a guy that can look for interesting decks always. Then Bobby, the controversial Bobby. Good win rate, plays one deck, the Lenny Reigns. He's got close in Worlds. I think he went. Did he go out in last 32 or maybe the round before?
I think he plays other agendas, although I haven't seen it, so it's just hearsay at this point.
Yeah, and last year I think he played Night's Watch. Yeah, but Lannister should be more at home. We'll see. Or maybe he gets traded.
He could be traded to Francisco. There could be something. There could be a deal to be made there.
Then we have Katarina. Katarina played in the World Cup, right? Recently. Lands in Martell. Limited time. But we'll see. Let me just check the profile. Ooh, doesn't play Martell that much, to be fair. So, but have to do. And then we have Mons now. Also, the profile here I think is going to be a little empty. I only played last year the 8 regions, but won 4 of the games with Baratheon. So coming back to the tournament, and yeah, small sample size, so you can't be sure. Goes to Tassos. And then this is a similar story for most of these players now. So Mr. Yellow a little more active, played some playtesting as well recently, so lands in the Targaryen team. And René is, I believe, strong Greyjoy loyalist. Played it in the World Cup. Yeah, I mean, solid win rate as well for a guy that goes so late in the draft, basically the last pick possible. So incredible pick for Johannes just to deny Cortius that loyalist in the end. And Cortius gets Justin, second player from Belgium in this year's tournament. Yeah, nothing to on the Justin Pavilion again here. So played Baratheon in the team regions. So these are we are guessing here a bit. The regions are probably as well. But sometimes you find a gem, like Henry was last year, for instance. So those are the picks, and the last 11 players will be now drafted randomly. So how should we do this? So we will enter them all of these 11 in the wheel of names, and then go by factions the way they're written here, right, from left to right. And then the last 3 we will enter the factions in the wheel of names instead, so that if you go alphabetically, then we know which end in teams that have more players than the others. So I think we start with the names of players. Hopefully it lets me copy this so that I don't have to type it. It does, and should be Storm as well. Whoever gets Storm randomly, I mean, poof. Oops, sorry, there was document. Okay, are you guys ready to write this down? Spaces after every name, okay. So we are going from left to right, and the first pick is for Andy Boyd for Baratheon.
All right.
Ooh.
Right.
Well. Then the next pick is for Tassos for Team Targaryen.
Sorry. Can you tell me? I can't see it well.
Marek was drawn to Andy, to Team Baratheon.
Okay. Marek goes there.
Okay, then Zero Requiem goes to the next team, which we said was Tassos, Team Targaryen. And we are now drawing for Urs in Martell. Still a Martell loyalist in there. And we get Filine.
It's a good one, okay.
Rupert for Team Lannister. And it's Gooby Butter. The next one is Stelios in Night's Watch. Ooh, Stelios got Storm. Well. Stelios assembled an amazing team. I'm a little bit jealous, to be honest. Then we have Johannes in Stark. Ooh, just gets to Red Wolf. Francisco in Team Tyrell.
Okay.
Gets the unpronounceable Franzoism 20154696205.
Wins the award for most
Okay.
numbers in username.
And finally, Cortius gets the Meeples champion.
Ooh, that's a good poll.
It's another one from the winning team last year, right?
That's right.
Okay, and then we have these three: Sonchek, Adichamp, and Carson, and we'll now put the factions in so that we don't know which one gets the extra player. Baratheon, Greyjoy, Tyrell, Stark, Targaryen. And we'll roll first for Sonchek. Come on, Martel. Lands in Tyrell.
To the reach.
Then we have Adichamp. Goes to Targaryen. And finally we have Carson. I think Andy would need an extra player. He has so many that are not super active on Discord.
Also an American.
But actually lands in Greyjoy. And there we are, I think.
Okay.
That's all we need from this wheel of names. So we can check these last players as well. And that's the teams assembled for the draft now. So Marek went to the Baratheon team. Marek won the 8 Regents with Baratheon, by the way, in the past. Not sure if he wants to play it again. Didn't state it as his disliked factions. By the way, Zini, Marek managed to enter 2 factions as those he didn't want to play, so he hacked the system. Thought that would annoy you.
Yeah, he should be tossed out of the tournament. This is bad.
He hates the painted table, he says, so okay. Could be a trade piece, to be fair, because he's played Baratheon before, but yeah, he did really well for us. He for a while he was our best player on the Jousting Pavilion, so he played the top opponents from the other teams. Okay, then let's check the players that Tassos got. So we have Zach, I believe, here. He's played this tournament in the past, but otherwise doesn't play that much. So yeah, a bit of a mystery to me, honestly. Plays different factions, so don't have that much to say. Then Adichamp. What do we have here? So Adichamp played in the World Cup, right? Yeah. Did 3 factions here and not a lot of tournament entries. Yeah, so these players that don't have much history, of course, are a bit of a gamble. So that's why they went randomly, but you can get some really different results. So I wonder how things will work out for them. Filine lands in Ursus team, Martell team. 4-2 in the World Cup. Wants to play Greyjoy well. Not sure if that can be arranged, but as you said, Hannes, did you say she was overrated here, underrated here, potentially?
No, I meant Feline. She was in my team in World Cup, so she played Greyjoy. Or were you talking about her?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. So I felt that way, yeah.
And then we have Gubi Butter. Night's Watch player with some Stark and Baratheon too, and lands in Lannister. Do we have Lannister history? We do not. Then we have Storm. Well, Storm was in the second group, so it has limited time. Doesn't want to play Baratheon. He's landed in Night's Watch. He plays. Doesn't take the top decks either, right? He's one of those players that likes to experiment. Has a good win rate. Plays all the factions, so he's a really good pick in that respect. I think the reason he didn't get picked probably is because there's maybe some speculation that he might be maybe difficult to get along with or something like that. He's sometimes slightly controversial, but as a player, really strong. Played last year, was maybe on the wrong end of some controversies when his opponents played slow against him. I think
Yeah, I were on a team with Storm last year, and he was just brilliant throughout the tournament for a Greyjoy. So excellent deck builder, creative as few. Really, really strong player, high win rate. So amazing player. So I think. He brings something very creative to any faction, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does it in the tournament.
Then we have Red Wolf. Red Wolf, I feel like I've seen on the Iron Throne before, but nothing on the profile here, so I assume this is the only one. There's a player from Spain, the only player from Spain this year. Lands in Stark.
Well, he loves the game and has listed his participation as a 3, so that should bode well.
Yeah. And then we have the unpronounceable long username. Doesn't want to play Night's Watch, but here we have this one tournament entry. I wonder if this person has a second profile. They lost to me in the top 32 in the online world. So, and to make it with Greyjoy Brotherhood shows a lot of creativity. I think he mentioned he watches my videos as well. So, would be nice to be on the same team, but alas, Francisco, I think, gets lucky on this occasion. And then we have Sonia. Sonia has played really well recently for Slovenia in the World Cup, winning 4 games there with not Martell, Hollow Hill or anything like that. Played Knights of the Realm, so deck that no one else took to the tournament, and did really well. And yeah, plays mainly Martell, can play other stuff, but with Martell I think she could be good. I wonder if I'm staying in Martell, if I wasn't taken as a trade piece, I might be looking at Sonia as a possible player to try to trade in. Then we have the Meeples champion. So this is Jeff, right?
Yeah, this is Jeff.
Limited time, but he's played a pretty nasty Baratheon Hollow Hill deck in the past, I remember. So, and plays all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but all of them are nasty. So that's his style. He's a brilliant deck builder, a brilliant guy. He fucks you over with a smile. So he's a great guy as well.
That's right. You know, that's what we look for in our opponents. Jeff loves attrition, and he loves kind of like, you know, mean tricks. So I think Greyjoy provides plenty of that where he will enjoy himself here.
And finally, Carson lands in Greyjoy as well. Love building silly decks. That's the perfect start to your description in this tournament, because this is exactly what you need. Played some friendly open tournament in the past, some Champions of Westeros. What's the profile say? Well, half of it is empty because the Champions of Westeros doesn't, of course, display a faction here. So a bit of a mystery, but could be strong. And these are the teams. So who won the draft, guys?
Let me have a look. I think like first of all American almost team is very smart, of course. So Andy has been picking smart. Other than that, it looks like we got eight pretty good teams. I don't know if there's a team I'm fearing more than others here.
I look at
Okay, this is all wishy-washy, Magnus. I say Night's Watch made the best picks.
Yeah. I was getting there.
Night's I actually really like Team Stark right there, because they have Dennis Luke and Super Deck and Gurjish, who really I think is a gold, but is listed as a green here. And they have Johannes as regent, and that just I feel like is going to be an incredibly strong team.
Well, how about the Baratheon team here? If you just go by the win rate, I mean, it has probably the most players who have won on the activity. But look at all the yellow color, or gold, as you say.
Yeah, it just depends. How much do you think the Americans will participate and chip in and you play, or will just be Andy trying to scrape people together to play games? Are they washed up? I don't know.
And then Gabriel in the last round, and Marek randomly. I mean, why? But yeah, you kind of do need to trade in this tournament. Difficult to play with just the original agendas if everyone else is trying to improve their available agendas. So yeah, picking clearly some friends here.
And if we're looking at your team, Mia, it looks like a lot of control players, right? So it looks like he's been picking a team consisting of players that got like similar-ish style to himself. So it's going to be interesting to see what his agenda trades will be.
Are you suggesting we're going to grind our opponents?
Totally.
That sounds like it could be fun. Yeah.
Miha, are you ready to make a lot of long streams?
By the way, guys, so let me show you my profile and my success with Martel in the past. So I've played 11 tournaments. I guess we can't really go through them, but it's a minor disaster. It's a faction I really like, and I played it a lot in certain periods, but never could make those deck work. So Martel Alliance is kind of a cancery deck that I tried that never won. Martel Summer is it's not what you think. It's some icon control shit that doesn't work. Mammers, Martel Assault, Icon Control, Martel Stag, Cancer Lancer, stuff like that. It's not been very successful, so I think I have a lot of work to do to learn the faction, assuming I'm staying, of course. I know that I'm tradable as well. So
you've got a lot of people who have some Martel reps under their belt, though, so I'm sure you can learn from them and you'll be fine. I feel like Martel and Baratheon are kind of like very similar factions. They're both very passive, very grindy. Kind of a different play style overall. So yeah, I think Martel's a great faction for this format, and I think you're well suited to it.
Well, we'll see. Then we have also, I think, Tyrell looking pretty decent here. If before the factions were drawn, if the factions were a mystery here, and someone said this is the Night's Watch team with Francis and Reinhardt, looking pretty scary now. They are slightly out of faction, but Francisco is, he knows Tyrell inside out, so.
And Banner Dragon goes very well in Tyrell.
Yeah. Lannister also, they got Martin. Okay, considering the players that went even later, Martin going round 3 is not the worst thing that's happened in this draft. But I mean, it's a steal anyway.
That was a good pull for sure.
Yeah. So.
I think there's a lot of really creative deck builders on Lannister, so I think they're gonna be a team to watch for sure.
Yeah, looking strong. Then Tassos has a list of really strong players here, but didn't get any of the loyalists really. So it's interesting if he will be able to trade something, or if he's confident that
himself.
he can make it work. Yeah, got himself. That's true. And then which one haven't you mentioned that? Greyjoy, well, okay. I mean, some of the picks they got, okay, it started with Alex, sure. But here, this sequence, getting Globotom, Geralt, and Eric, I mean, this was a great sequence of the draft here. And they're really strong in that middle part. It's going to be really tough to beat them, I think.
And Greyjoy's always a good faction in this format. They can do so much, so... And I think they also have the ability to trade. They have some people who could play well in Greyjoy or in other factions too, so they may be able to accumulate those 10 fealties they had like last year.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? You need 10 fealties.
I think Greyjoy has other options though.
Yeah, but we proved that it's possible to get 10 fealties.
I know, right? If you offer the right player, like you could see someone maybe like Richard Walker or Mad even, could go to other factions and you might be able to get a pretty good return for them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we were going to chat to the Regents, but I think they've mainly gone. Anyone still here from the Regents so that we can hear some of their thoughts? That's more a question for you, Zini. Should we do that, or should we slowly wrap it up here?
We can add them and check if they're available. Give me a minute or two.
I unfortunately have to drop now, but let me say I'm now very psyched. I think it's really great teams again. Thanks for hosting it again, Miha. Thanks everybody for participating, and thanks a lot to the Regents for running everything so smoothly and for running the team. So I'm looking very much forward to the next weeks. So take care, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for all your work, Hannes, again, and have a good night.
So let's see if we can get the Regents in here. I see Francisco is already here, so that's great. Invited them all, so let's hope that they will arrive shortly. And if not, we'll be happy with Francisco, won't we?
Hey, how are you?
Hey. Oh, we're pretty fine. I think we've enjoyed what you guys have been doing. I hope you've enjoyed your time in the voice chat for the Regents as well. I've seen it been busy.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we got Courteous here as well. Hi, mate.
How are you?
We're fine. How was the drafting for you guys? We're not
it goes.
Having some intense time here. We just enjoyed your picks and talked about it.
It goes according to the plan.
No doubt. Alex's first pick is always awesome.
Yeah, we thought you would pick Lannister, but yeah, that was a surprise there. Some were speculating Lannister round 1, but yeah, factions went a little bit later.
I was surprised to see the Greyjoy pick there, Courteous. Was there some arrangement between you and Alex France, or was this a spontaneous change of heart?
Not at all. But I found out that there's a lot of Greyjoy loyalists, and it sounds like Baratheon loyalists and other faction with a lot of loyalists. And I was pretty sure to succeed on building a strong team with a lot of good builders. Like I succeed to get Alex So it's fine for me.
It's a good first pick for sure. So now that you've built your strong team, you're going to trade yourself to Lannister, right?
Actually, there is
Hey.
nothing in the rule.
That's
Why
right.
did we invite Peter in here? That
I do what I
traitor.
want, Andy. Get out of here.
Yeah, I think
You could
Pierre
have first
has,
picked me, Andy.
Pierre has had to go, and we lost Hannes as well. But yeah, we have Andy here, Cortius, we have Francisco, we have Johannes, we have Rupert Urs now joining us. So yeah, let's give everyone a chance to tell us how it went.
Terribly.
Basically,
just-
Rupert stole all the Andy picks.
I stole like one, but I
Two.
wasn't meaning to steal it. I think Peter's just a
Colin,
really
too.
great player, and who else?
Colin.
Colin.
You saw two of mine.
Colin. Oh, yeah, it's true.
I was hoping he'd take Tom, Andy. I was like, we got Lannister. Tom McKenzie's available, and he's due for wins. Come on. But
Yeah,
was
Tom,
gonna take
Tom
that.
McKenzie is not available. He is not.
I was going to
available.
take Tom, right. Andy went right before me and took him, so.
what a bum, that guy.
Oh, I was so mad for when I don't know who are picking Palpa and Zini, and I was like, oh no, no, that was my choice after that. It's okay.
I really like the Palpa pick, actually. Even out of Targaryen, you know, he's just awesome. So looking forward to being on a team with him again.
Just to finish the why I picked Greyjoy also. It might be I get Alex mad a few days ago because I was pressuring him to play the 8 Regent, and so it was a gift also for him.
He's a good player to have in Greyjoy. I don't think anyone will dispute that.
I called this a long time ago, so yeah, I wasn't that surprised that this happened. Straight after the pick, it's just yeah, something fishy is going on here. But that's a good Regent that you got there, just pressuring people to join to make the right choice, and I guess you did that for him now.
Yeah, kinda. And also, if I didn't got Alex, I would have picked Argento of Superdog if possible. And it's funny because all of them are playing Greyjoy a lot.
Because it's a good faction.
Yeah, I guess.
All factions are equal, and the person who drafted last wins.
Yes.
So what's with all the Americans, Andy?
They're a bunch of washed up, haven't played in years Americans.
That's right.
That's right.
It's a motley crew. So Andy, I think I don't know if you listed yourself as a 3, but I think it was almost everyone on your team, but maybe 2 players listed themselves as a 1. So are you going to play like 6 matches a week? Is that the plan?
I believe some of those were intentional ones so that they wouldn't be drafted by other regions. Little strategy there.
I see.
But we'll see. Might bite me in the butt. We'll see.
Okay, and then let's go through some of the others. So Francisco, how are you happy with your team? So Tyrell again, I guess that was not the plan right from the start, it seems, right?
Yeah, it was not the plan, but my plan was not to play Nightwatch, so it's okay. I was gonna only draft players until the end.
So how about the Francis and the Reinhard picks? You know, because those look like if I looked at the teams almost without a faction over them, I would have guessed your team is Team Targ from the lineup.
Yeah, well, it was not gonna be Team Targ, but those players were available that I didn't think they were gonna be available. So I picked them, and I was third next round, and I was like, well, I might pick Targ, but it went on the first pick. So,
Yeah, that would have worked
but
out quite good actually.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but Francis said that he didn't mind any faction. So
Okay, and then we have Johannes. So Johannes, you took Stark, and we all agreed on the stream that you got incredible team. Got away with murder a little bit. Some of the strong players there.
Yeah, I have a couple options. I thought like the player pool for Stark was really good until like people started sniping every pick of my team one round. So after I picked Stark, I think like people picked like 3-4 Stark players in the row or something. Well, Thomas Troyan can play a lot of factions, but yeah.
You got greedy,
So-
man. You tried to wait. You got greedy.
Maybe in some occasions, yeah, but
Yeah, if you got Chris in round 5, it would be a travesty, I think. So I was happy he got stolen.
yeah.
Johannes, just think about it. You could have ended up with Baratheon.
Oh, Baratheon was my backup, so it's not like I tried to pick early players that can play multiple factions and are pretty good pilots, so and flexible. So I wasn't, but then I saw Stark was available and houses started going. So my other options were Tyrell and Baratheon and Lannister, basically. I think.
Not a Team Targaryen repeat.
Nah, I think like there were not that many Targaryen players.
Because they were on Francisco's team.
That's true, probably. But yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. But I think we have good Stark players on my team, so. And then I have Magnus to take care of the Discord, so.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'll do. I'll get you zero zero wins.
No.
I'm gonna get
You can play
now.
Stark. I think
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
better with Targaryen,
worries.
but I think you can play Stark. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. I'm very happy with being picked for Stark for sure. It's a good faction, and I pilot it reasonably well as well. So it's gonna be good. The team looks like fire, so it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I was trying to look for players that have actually played Stark lately. So not all of them have played it very lately, and of course, like Rene is Greyjoy loyalist, but my shortlist was kinda empty, and he was top of the, I don't know, the list, I guess. I don't know, I'm not sure.
Can I ask a quick?
I had like a longest list of Stark players, and still somehow I got sniped all of those potential picks and backups.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I want to know how my fellow Regent's gonna feel getting beat by the last pick faction. Just out of curiosity.
I think everyone knows that Lannister's the best faction, so I think all we have to do is not have any mutiny among the ranks, and we've got this one, I think.
Yeah, Lannister might be the best, but are you happy with your team?
Very happy, very happy. Honestly, it could hardly have gone better. I did not think I was going to get Lannister. I really wanted Lannister. I think there's just so many fun ways to play them. I think
I guess the question is, do you plan to play all games, you and your brother? Like in the
Well, you know, I've experienced playing 4 games a week, so if I have to, I can always step in. But I think the team we've got is incredibly good. I'm really excited.
You're going to give me a vacation for 3 months while I get to watch you guys win?
No, Peter, you have to.
Fair enough.
You got to contribute. You know, we need your winning ways. You won last year, so we needed that winning experience on the team this time.
I didn't make good decisions. I traded you away last year, so.
Overrated. Peter's overrated. We all know that.
That's right. Andy, you should pick me, man. What's up with that?
Overrated.
Yeah, now it comes out.
Yeah, I mean the one American that didn't survive to be picked by Andy.
He can't pick them all. He only gets 9 picks or something. I think.
I tried. The Regents chat. I was giving
too many.
Rupert some shit for taking Peter from me. So obviously I'm joking.
No, I know.
There was the right way down first pick, Andy. It was available.
Thought about it.
No, but then I would have got Jim and Peter by the time it came back around to him. So
I don't know. Jim was going to be picked, I think, almost
no,
immediately.
he was. You're
available.
right.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's the best first pick. 2 years in a row, right?
He's just, I think, so like uniquely suited to this tournament. On top of being an amazing player, it's just he's so versatile. So
Yeah.
and yeah, didn't lose a game last year, so it definitely showed. And I think he was playing like Targaryen Kingsguard and banners and Greensight and weird stuff. So
Yeah, and crossing. Beat me with
oh,
crossing.
you know, when we wanted to guarantee a win, we gave him crossing.
Crossing
but,
with Mad King's Command.
Super
It's a great
Smash Bros. Super
Oh,
Smash
yes.
Bros. The greatest deck.
Oh, it's fantastic. Ugh, I have that sleeved up. I still play it. It's a lovely deck.
Okay, so 2 more guys we need to have a chat with here. So Stelios, if you're here, there was some
Yes.
opinions that you might have won the draft. Incredibly strong team in Night's Watch.
Oh, really? I'm gonna listen to to the stream tomorrow. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I mean, my first 2 picks went as planned. And then afterwards, I went for some players that are good all around, are not exactly loyalists. I mean, but are experienced with a faction like Marcel or Neil or Mog. I don't know who I'm gonna trade, who I'm gonna lose. I have to trade someone, but I'm gonna be very sad to miss them because I was also lucky with the last, draw with Storm, and it's a good card to have.
I know who you will trade. You can trade Creasy for me.
He's a top tier player, and you only have one. So I don't know. Super Duck wants to play Netflix.
Yeah, and I think, did you get Marcel Arias as well?
Yeah, 4th pick, 3rd as a player.
He belongs in Martel, so yeah, and yeah,
He can play different factions though.
we have Urs here as well. If you are here, so you're muted.
Yeah, I am. Hi.
Hello.
How do you feel about your team?
Well, it was a slight surprise going to Martel in round 1 as well. I guess there wasn't an Argento Martel version of Argento, I guess, so I had to settle for me to see what we can do. So am I staying or am I being traded?
You were my first round pick all along, and I was pretty happy to get you actually. But I wasn't really at that point. I wasn't really settled on a faction. Like I was. It wasn't round 2 that I really decided, okay, I'm gonna go the Martel route now. I didn't decide that in round 1. Round 1, I was pretty much open to everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Martel is a really strong faction in this format, so hopefully we can make it work.
I think we have a bunch of good Martel players actually. So.
Okay,
question
so
the group. Oh, sorry. Go on. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Just question the group. Is there anyone who felt like their preferred faction got away in the draft?
My preferred faction, not really, but when I drafted Francis and Rain, I thought about drafting Tark, so maybe you could say it went away. But I'm happy with Tyrell.
Yeah,
no,
super.
I'm not.
My plan all along was to wait on faction no matter what. I figured I'd just take the last one because I think they're all pretty equal. Shout out to the this team, the GOT team, who manages that. But I was happy when I saw Stark and Night's Watch go earliest. I knew I wasn't going to get them. So, but I knew all along that I would wait till the last faction for it to be mine. Just happened to be Bear, which I love.
Yeah. Yeah, Baratheon I think is really strong, but so is Targaryen in this format and Lannister. And I think Nightwatch actually is slightly underrated. Used to do really well in those team events in the past, but in both editions of 8 Regions it underperformed a little bit. But with this team, I think it should be really strong. One of the tournament favorites for me.
I think they've received some new cards that will help them build, and especially like that Chinese national champion deck shows that Night's Watch can be played in a very kind of unorthodox way and do well.
With the weapon attachments, you mean?
Yes, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can continue with the chat, but we'll end the stream here. So let me just switch back to the list of teams for you. So there we are. Once again, this is the draft. This will be, of course, available, the spreadsheet with all the players and stuff in the coming days. So next up is the silly season, which starts now, I guess, this second. So what this means is that for the next 3 weeks, teams have the chance to trade players and to trade agendas. They can only trade agendas if they trade players, so kind of pressure for everyone to do so, but also I guess if they're not too rushed, sometimes time to test some of those agendas that no one is sure about. So this is one of the most fun parts of the tournament for me, and really looking forward to that, and I hope everyone is as well. Any last words, guys, or shall we end it here?
I won't trade House Greyjoy for Lannister.
That's it. Those the words.
Well, you could trade yourself, though, Curtis.
Who's in your team? Who I can trade myself to?
All I'll say is,
man to talk to.
I was surprised how the factions went in the draft.
Yeah, how did you think it was
wasn't-
going to go?
Well, I thought Curtis would go Lannister. I thought, Rupert would go Tyrell. Obviously, Tassos with Targa is predictable, but I don't know. It just kind of surprised me. The order they went, I thought Stark and Night's Watch went earlier than I expected. It was good. It was exciting. It's fun.
I think the factions in the draft mix worked out really great. Like it was an option that people decided to use slightly earlier than what I thought, but it seemed like everyone's reasonably happy with their factions as well. So it seems like it ended up as a great draft. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes, and now to the most hectic and most chaotic part of the tournament. This is going to be great, guys. So really looking forward to follow this, and thank you so much to Mia for having the stream and guiding us through this, and good luck to everyone. Hope we get plenty of trades and a lot of banter.
Yeah, Zini, do you want to join Greyjoy by any way?
You got my region here, so you can talk with him.
He doesn't.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Okay, guys, so thank you everyone for watching tonight, and we'll see you soon in other videos when the tournament starts proper. So have a good night.
All right, thanks, man.
Good night.
Let's get
Good night,
silly.
guys. Bye.
Night all.
Let's get silly.